For the entirety of Audrain's Newport, Concours, and Motor Week, it seemed that every breathtaking historic home and every postcard-worthy road had been immersed in this world event. More than $1 billion worth of the world's most unique vehicles on the planet were on display across famous Bellevue Avenue. The gathering was a garden party held at Rough Point, where there's nothing rough about the Gilded Age mansion of Doris Duke.
They took great cars. They had several unveilings or reveals of some original models. They had their share of celebrity. For me, the cars are the stars.
One of the stars was a 356 Outlaw, brought to life by custom auto builder Rod Emery.
The 356 is the beginning of all Porsche.
Right.
It was the very first model that they built, and they built the cars from 1948 to 1965. And then that was what really kind of drove the 911 and all the other Porsches after that. But this is the beginning of the car company, and it's a timeless design, you know. It's and very iconic. So it has a really kind of great tone, right?
If the color didn't say you were coming,
Right.
that does.
So it revs real quick. It's, you know, it's got a great tone. It's not obnoxious, but man, when you're at 7,000 RPM and you're banging gears, it's definitely a fun car to drive.
It screams fun,
Yeah, definitely.
but it also screams everything that Porsche always screams.
Yeah, exactly.
Performance.
Yeah.
That legacy just continues, and it has continued, which is the most important part of this brand. It's not just that the cars are phenomenally engineered, it's the following, the people that really bring this brand to another level.
Dennis Rochefort was here to unveil the legacy's latest.
This is the 911 Speedster. Porsche makes a Speedster once every generation of cars. Every 7 or 8 years they do a Speedster and they limit production. This year they did 1,948, which is the year 1948 when Porsche was founded. This particular car also has the Heritage Package, which is the two-tone paint, the number, and the decals, along with the interior, so that basically it's speaking back towards the Speedsters of the 1960s.
With the help from celebrities like Jay Leno and Emily Ratajkowski, the gathering became a day of unveilings, from Aston Martin's Zagato twins to the Bugatti Chiron Skyview. But the show stealer may have been a young lad who can't even drive yet.
So all of a sudden you come here after just saving your allowance,
Yeah.
and you're talking to Jay Leno,
I'm talking to Jay Leno. I'm talking to the
Supermodels.
person in charge of this. I'm
and
talking
you're
to
sitting
everyone.
in this car.
And I'm sitting in first Skytop one, and it's amazing. Even
How
better
far
vision.
are you away from getting your own driver's license?
4 years, less than 4 years at this point.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Oliver, my future replacement. Season 3 of Driven, hosted by Oliver. It's been nice knowing you guys.
Like all the Motor Week events, there was something for all ages and interests.
Yeah! Who wants a piece of me?
It's a business coupe, and it's all business. No radio, no heat, it doesn't have carpeting, it doesn't have side view mirrors, and it doesn't have a back seat. So this thing was either built for the military to use it just to beat the heck out of it, but mostly drag racers would buy it because it was cheaper, and it's been a drag car since the 50s and 60s.
You're turning heads here
I'm trying.
at Concours. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be around multi-million-dollar cars and still get a heads up.
The entire area was the backdrop for the Tour de Elegance, where the cars from the Concours embarked on a road trip from a 50th anniversary celebration of a Newport landmark. That early morning provided a picturesque panorama for this parade of performance and luxury.
It was glorious. The ocean drive through Middletown to all the beaches, it was really special. And everybody was having a great time. Being on the bridge for all those photographs and the copter flying around, and it was really thrilling. It was cold as hell, but it was really thrilling. And I did find out one thing that I've never known in California. The heat works in the car.
Really?
Yes.
As generations of motoring history made its way through town, it stopped at a Cars and Coffee event being held along Fort Adams waterfront vista. where even a Stanley Vanderbilt Cup racer was bringing some heat.
There's nothing like the classic long hood, short back. You're sitting on the wheels, on the rear wheels. That look is classic of the early race cars. And the best part of any steam car is the whistle.
How would you feel about racing this car back then?
Men were brave. I'll leave it at that. Men were extremely brave to race these open-wheeled cars, whether it be a Stanley or a Mercer or a Stutz.
All right, let's go, guys. A safer race was being held inside the fort's protected walls. Safer and way slower for some. When the tour arrived at the Concours Village at the Newport International Tennis Hall of Fame, it was already the talk of the town.
In the history of Newport, there has never been a gathering of that amount of people on Bellevue Avenue in history. That was saying something, you know. So it's those little moments that are happening that I hope get repeated year after year, but there's nothing like the first time that it happens because you don't know what to expect. And when it actually does happen, it's almost indescribable.
The descriptive power of words are useless in expressing the uniqueness of the Victorian Masquerade Gala held in celebration of the museum's 5th anniversary.
As we mentioned before, we're all here tonight to celebrate the Audrain Automobile Museum.
It's the one event that we hold that we raise money to help the museum to help us throughout the year. And that helps us with our youth programs, but then there's a large portion of it that will go to the local charities. But to have it in the breakers, I mean, unbelievable.
It was an evening worthy of the Vanderbilts and proving that the Gilded Age has nothing on today's Newport.